I think I'm managing to control my temper, frankly, which is always a challenge. So sometimes I'm lucky enough to get out on the golf course. I actually try to make it happen about 3 times a month. I'm not great, but I do enjoy it. And strangely, I love a good metaphor, and often golf can be a pretty good metaphor for lots of things in life, but also, frankly, in business. So, maybe if I get a gap on the course and there aren't too many people around, so I can pull out my phone, I'll see if I can reflect on some of the things that are happening to me through the round and see if I can connect them to the kinds of things that typically might happen in business. Here's an awesome lesson. First hole, first hit, straight into the bushes, and basically have toast for the first hole. So what's the lesson? How do you put that little error behind you mentally and get focused back on the next shot? Because every shot is just a shot of its own. It's just like having a bad quarter or recording a bad result or missing a good tender. You got to get back on and just swing that club again. Let's see what happens. Not a great start. So the next couple of shots after that shocker first weren't actually too bad. Just hit my second drive, straighter, still not great. Got some work to do on it. And as we said at the beginning, it's all about the long game. Just chipping away, little adjustments. Let's see how we go. So I just thought of one. In business, it's easy to spend a lot of time worrying about what your competitors are doing. It's the same thing with golf. You can spend a lot of time looking at how the other players are playing and what they're doing and what club they're picking and where they're hitting it and what score they've got. But it's ultimately not going to have much of an impact. It's interesting intel. You got to focus on your own game. Planning your shots on like a longer hole, I'm going to hit there and then I'm going to hit there and then I'm going to approach the green there, and it's a bit like budgeting, really. That sounds strange. If you've got a good view of the steps you think you should take and the progress you think you should kind of make along the way, you can set that budget according to your capability. But then it's actually very rare you hit it, And so you want to try and also set that budget so you've got some margin for error. And then each time you take that shot or hit that quarter of the financial year, you then reassess, reevaluate, compare against your plan, and then start again, reset. Where am I now? What's remaining? What do I need to do to get done? So, budgets are good. They're useful tools, but they're not perfect, and you need to be ready to adjust along the way. So remember that budgeting comment about how planning the hole ahead is just like budgeting the year ahead. What that means is you're just trying to position yourself for opportunity. So you don't necessarily need to shoot for the stars every single shot, but if you just keep positioning yourself for opportunity, then when it comes, you'll know it, and then you have a crack. So you might suddenly just catch the ball that little bit better. Just get that bit closer to the pin on the green, and that's your chance, and then you strike. But if not, just stay relaxed. Keep going for the high consistency shots. Same in business. Stay relaxed. Just keep going through the motions. Consistency. When the opportunity comes, have a crack. If I'm stretching this analogy with golf and business too far, you got to let me know, all right? But here, I've got another one. So a lot about golf is the feeling you get when you strike the ball, right? So you can actually strike the ball really nicely every now and then, and you get this great feeling and it feels awesome and the ball flies high and it's all great. Doesn't mean it's going to end up in the right spot. So often you can come up with a plan, you can execute your plan perfectly. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to then approach your ball and find that actually you're in a good spot for the next shot. Similar things happen in business where you come up with a plan, use the information you've got available, you execute perfectly, but then you don't end up in necessarily the greatest spot for whatever reason. External factors, something you didn't anticipate, imperfect information, whatever. But the trick is, you got to still at least celebrate the fact that you gave it a good crack. You had a bit of a swing, felt good at the time, you did what you could with the information available, and you actually executed well. Just because you ended up in not the right spot or not exactly the right spot, doesn't mean that you shouldn't at least pause for a second and say, you know what, with the information I had available, that was great execution. Got a bit of work to do to clean up where I ended up, but doesn't mean that I didn't do a good thing and there weren't some things that I can take from that. So same with golf, you can do a great shot, it can feel great, but when you actually get to the ball, you find out it's not in the greatest spot. But so what? You still did a good shot, and now you just got to work out what to do from here. Well, I managed to survive the round. It was a hard day out on the course. Definitely not my best scoring round, but some interesting lessons to take away. I don't know if you know much about golf, but if you do, you'll know that you're meant to only putt twice in every hole. That's the target. Anyway, so if you play 18 holes, you should putt 36 times. I ended up putting 50 times. So one quick look at the stats would give you a pretty good indication of where I need to spend my time and what I need to do to practice. I never practice putting, so I shouldn't expect to be any better. That's why this is a long game. Each iteration is just another opportunity to learn, review the results, and then try and implement a bit of training, do some improvements, and then have another crack next time. So start of another week. Just in my study at home. What's the plan? Got a call with Rob from Ace Training and Multi Skills, and that's just our regular kind of weekly catch up. So that'll be good to see where he's at, kind of that regular check-in, providing him with a bit of sounding board for his role in CEO of that business. That's going well. So I've got that coming up. The rest of the day really is, I've got 2 board meetings tomorrow, another 2 next week. So most of the day today is like homework, laptop, board papers, notebook. It's literally like being back at school doing study. I just want to make sure that my head's in the right space for each of those meetings and I've got the priorities set. You can cover a lot of ground, but the most important thing is making sure that you're staying focused. I just saw an email from one of the other directors. The point that he wanted on the agenda was, what are the 3 things that we're going to get done between this board meeting and the next board meeting? And you're only allowed to pick 3. Great discipline, because otherwise you can end up with 1,000 things to do and get none done. So yeah, we're going to sit here, we're going to read through papers, we're going to take some notes and see where we get to after that. The rest of the week is looking like 2 board meetings tomorrow, day off on Wednesday. It's my wedding anniversary. And then Thursday, Friday is the forum. So that'll be, a great opportunity to introduce you to a whole bunch of people in that. Alrighty, so just about to dial into the first of 2 board meetings today. So I've got an online meeting with the Austral Herbs team and Paige and Ak and Geordie, and then I'll jump in the car later and head out to the city to have the first board meeting with the Grimer team. So that's Ryan's new acquisition, so pretty exciting to really get started and get stuck into the real stuff there. Board meeting done. Relatively productive. I think we can probably be a bit more structured. There were some conversations that converted to a workshop when they should have been more information decision. That takes a cadence to get into. I think we're a pretty effective group. Each board meeting is like a team event and each board is like a little team. So I'm on all these different teams that have different dynamics and different cadence. But that team, I'm pretty happy with, and I think that over time we can continue to improve performance and keep getting better. So good one. Wow, so I ended up getting in and out of the city for an entire board meeting and I completely forgot about you guys. I really need to get better at remembering to capture the moments and capture the process that I'm going through. So don't worry, I will get better at it. That was a good catch up. First board meeting with the Grimer board, the newly formed Grimer board after the newly acquired Grimer business. So cardboard recycling in Western Sydney. Great little business. Ryan is doing an excellent job getting his feet under the desk. And as we discussed in the board meeting, the challenge there is staying focused, steady progress, not rushing, just doing the right things at the right time. And that's what we're going to be focused on going forward.